Hello everybody! You are currently watching our video series about web accessibility, where we'll be talking about everything we know about creating accessible websites and complying with web accessibility guidelines. In this video, we'll be covering text. Text is an important element to consider for accessibility for two reasons. It needs to consider those who use screen readers to hear text read aloud to them, and it also needs to consider those who might have seeing impairments that make it somewhat difficult for them to make out text on a screen. When it comes to text, the most important block you'll come to time and time again is the heading block. It's also important to make sure that you're using headings properly. As you can see, WordPress has three different kinds of headings. We have heading 2, which is the largest, heading 3, which is the middle size, and heading 4, which is the smallest. For proper accessibility, headings must be nested within one another. For example, a third level heading must be nested under a second level heading, like this. And a fourth level heading must be nested under a third level heading, like you see here. This method is extremely important for people who use screen readers. Here's why. When a screen reader starts reading text on a screen, it starts with the headings. The person using the screen reader can choose which heading or section they would like to start with, and the screen reader will read from there. So without using proper headings, it can be very difficult for someone with a screen reader to find the information on the page that they're looking for right away. Here's an example of headings that have been properly nested on a page. As you can see, our level 3 heading is nested under our level 2 heading, and our level 4 heading is nested under our level 3 heading. This complies with web accessibility guidelines. Even for people with more mild cases of visual impairment, headings can be super important because they break up the page and make things easier to read. A mistake that a lot of people make is bolding text in order to create the appearance of a heading, like so. In theory, this works, but this should really be avoided because screen readers will not register it as a heading, and it will not be read as such. The next important thing to consider for web accessibility is paragraph length. You should always avoid using really long paragraphs, like this one, because they make the important information harder to find right away. Here's a good tip. Try to keep paragraph length between 2 to 4 sentences, and keep sentences under 20 words. Here's some examples of good paragraphs. You can already see how much easier it is to read and how skimmable the content is. And finally, here's our last tip when it comes to web accessibility for text. 2 things you should not do are use italics and all caps. You can see that they both make things even harder to read. Overall, if you stick to these tips, you should be generating content that is accessible for everyone. We hope that you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in our other training videos. We also have accessibility training for images, videos, tables, and closed captioning, so make sure you check those out. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.